I call the Lincoln-Woodstock Cooperative School District Annual Meeting to order. It's at 7 o'clock. This is not a public meeting. It's a meeting of the registered voters of Lincoln and Woodstock. I'm glad you appreciate the importance of this meeting. You are the decision makers. I encourage you to ask questions and make comments. Thank you to the Facilities Department for setting up. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to go over the rules of the meeting. All cell phones should be turned to silent. Each participant will treat each other participant with respect and courtesy. The moderator will not allow personal attacks and inappropriate language. Anyone wishing to address the meeting will use this microphone over here. First, be recognized by the moderator. Speakers will begin by stating your name. All other speakers will be considered out of order. I will allow non-voters to speak. However, please identify yourself as a non-voter. While allowed to speak, you are forbidden from voting. The initial presentation on articles will be limited to 10 minutes. All speakers in debate will be limited to 3 minutes, including a warning of 1 minute. Time to be determined by the moderator. All new speakers who desire to speak will be given a chance to do so before one is given a second opportunity on the same issue. Each article needs a motion and a second to discuss it. Only one amendment to a motion will be allowed on the floor at one time. No amendments to an amendment will be allowed. Such proposals will be dealt with as a subsequent amendment after the first has been voted upon. All amendments will be submitted to the moderator in writing. The subject of the original article must be addressed, and the amendment cannot be a negative amendment. The moderator can be overruled by a majority of the meeting, and state statutes do govern legal procedures not listed here. I do have results from the election earlier today. There were 105 voters. For moderator, Robert Wetherell, 102, electing Robert Wetherell. Thank you. For school board, Kevin Bell, 9-0. Joseph Bossy, 9-9. Paul Sherdelon, 1-2. Darlena Clark, 1, electing both Kevin and Joseph. Article 3, which is to see if you are in favor of changing the moderator term from 1 year to 2 years, beginning with the term of the moderator to be elected at next year's regular school district meeting. Yes, 9-2, no 6, and 7 undervotes, which does pass Article 3. And that brings us to tonight's business, which starts at Article 4, to hear all reports of agents, auditors, committees, and officers chosen, and pass any vote relating thereto.
Robert, I'll make a motion to accept all reports as written.
Motion by Tamara Ham to accept all reports as written. Second by Jay Duguay. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. And we'll move on to Article 5. To see if the district will set the salaries of the school board at $1,000, the vice chair at $1,250, the chairperson at $1,500, the moderator at $200 per meeting, the school district clerk at $250 per meeting, the ballot clerks at $160 per meeting, supervisors of the checklist at $180 per meeting, and the school district treasurer at $4,725 per year. This money for the article is included in Article 6.
So moved.
Moved by Tamara Ham.
Second.
And second by Jay Duguay. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll vote on Article 5 as written. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. And Article 5 passes unanimously. Article 6, to see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate the school board's recommended amount of $9,636,240 for the support of schools for the salaries of school district officials, employees, and agents, and for the payment of statutory obligations of the district, and to authorize the application against said appropriation such sums as are estimated to be received from state aid together with other income. The school board to certify to the selectmen of each of the towns of Lincoln and Woodstock respectively the balance to be raised by taxes by the towns of Lincoln and Woodstock in accordance with the formula adopted by the Lincoln-Woodstock Cooperative School District. And the school board further to certify to the selectmen of each of the towns of Lincoln and Woodstock the amount to be raised by taxation by each of the said 2 towns. This article does not include appropriations contained in special or individual articles addressed separately.
So moved.
Moved by Tamara Ham. Second by Jay Duguay, and I'll recognize the chairperson, Jay Duguay.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you all for being here this evening. We appreciate your continued support of the district. Tonight's budget is the $9,636,240. That represents approximately 1.8% increase over the budget from last year. We've been able to realize some savings in certain areas. We paid off the science room, which allowed us to realize some savings in debt service. But we did have some increases that were sort of outside of our control, a large portion of which was a 9.5% increase in insurance premiums. Set our negotiated raises in the support staff contract. So there were some areas where we had no control over some of those larger increases, but we did work through the budget process with administration and the board to try to find savings where we could. Through that process, we took about $131,000 out of the proposed budget, trying to find other funds for those, using some of our trust funds and our capital reserve funds to fund those items that were not necessarily items that you would budget for, maybe one-time expenditures, things of that nature. But our budget supports our school. It supports our 2 buildings, supports our grounds, it supports the 40 teachers, 24.5 support staff, 6 administrators, and services for approximately 243 students. That includes approximately 58 students with individual education plans. And that's everything. That's regular education, special education, nursing services, behavioral health, enrichment programs in the summertime, academic enrichment, and just stuff that we do for fun. The Girls and Boys of Summer programs, things like that. It also includes our efforts to expand educational opportunities for students. We have agreements with the Career Technical Education Center, the charter school up in Wilton, that allows us to have some technical education options for our students. And that also includes our efforts to broaden the availability of college level credit classes for the students. And recently, we've entered into a regional agreement with a number of other high schools in the area to expand access to AP courses through distance learning. Essentially, students can join our classes, our students can join other classes, and that's expanded our available AP classes to around 30 different opportunities or options for the students. And so we're working to try to be innovative. The administration is working hard to try to find opportunities for our students to have a broader expanse of opportunity that we can provide in our small district. We do well with what we have, but we're working hard to give the kids some additional stuff. And one of the things that we're really happy to see this year is the amount of students taking advantage of the college classes and the free college credits that they can earn. And the class of 2025 has earned, or is expected to earn by the end of the year, approximately 306 college credits. Translating that into real money for parents paying for, and students taking out loans for college. That's approximately $140,000 if they're going to UNH. That's 140 at PSU, and 66 if they continue their education at one of the local community colleges or technical colleges that we have. So it's real, those opportunities translate into real savings for the students and their families. And so we're happy to see an increase in participation in those programs, and we hope to continue to expand those. The budget essentially level funds what we asked for last year. We have had no real decrease in enrollment, so we have basically working with the same student body, roughly size-wise, and trying to offer the same programs in terms of the money that we're spending, but expanding that in ways that don't cost us additional money. So, like I said, the administration and the board worked hard to put this budget together. We hope that you support it, and we think it's a reasonable and a responsible budget for our district. Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, sure.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's been any changes in special ed funding, either number of students taking advantage of it up or down, and whether there's any change in what you're seeing coming from state and federal government as far as budget.
I think as a general matter, we are seeing and expecting declining state funding. We do have a fairly large amount of special education expenditure in our district. Some of that we get back if we have out of district placements. If you look, one of our warrant articles is putting money into our special education capital reserve fund. That $60,000 is we expect to get returned from the state of New Hampshire from monies that we spend. We have been budgeting for what we know that we have for special education needs, but we did have some unexpected expenditures this year, actually fairly significant unexpected expenditures. One of the issues that is sort of new, based on some new legislation, is that students that are outside of our school placed at charter schools. Those charter schools can order special ed services, and we pay for those. And so we've seen kind of a fairly significant increase in expenditures as a result of that. So we have seen say not insignificant increase in the amount of money that we are spending for special ed services. We are having discussions about that capital reserve fund that we have, for unexpected expenditures that are necessary, and whether or not we are at a comfortable level with that in terms of, if we have a couple of out of district placements, that adds up very quickly, and are we gonna have enough to cover it? So we have seen some increases. We are sort of aware of that, and we're working towards sort of budgeting for the ones that we can expect and making sure we have enough in our capital reserve to cover things that are unexpected. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
I'm Paul Turtle, I have 3 children in the school. I just think basically the amount of money divided by the amount of students, just straight line math. I know the state numbers are slightly lower, it's about $42,000 per student. Recently, Profile School District offered us for $18,000 per student for our 7 through 12. So they also have much better academics over there. I think in 2023, the science scores for the 8th grade was 78% failure rate, whereas Profile was over 80-90% efficiency. So I just think that the school board ought to look at other options, especially with the educational freedom accounts are going to, they're going to lift the income caps, I think at the end of the 2026 school year. So that might cause a lot of dynamic changes. Also, I'd like to state that Lincoln only had 1 child born this last year, and Woodstock only also had 1 child born this last year. So there's going to be a lot of less attendance through at least those birth rates and possibly the educational freedom counts, and with the option of lower, much lower to the taxpayers of integrating with Profile High School with better academic record. I think those things should be considered. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll vote on Article 6 as written. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. And Article 6 passes with opposition. Article 7, to see if the district will vote to approve the cost items included in the collective bargaining agreement reached between the Lincoln-Woodstock Cooperative School Board and the Lin-Wood Educational Association, NEA, New Hampshire, which calls for the following increases in salaries and benefits over those paid in the prior fiscal year. Year estimated increase for 2025-2026, $2,281, $206,281. 2026 and 2027, $191,016. And further to raise and appropriate the sum of $206,281 for the 2025-2026 fiscal year such sums representing the additional costs attributed to the increase in salaries and benefits over those that would be paid at current staffing levels in accordance with the most recent collective bargaining agreement.
So moved.
Moved by Tamara Ham.
Second.
Second by Jay Dugan, and I'll recognize Jasmine Weedy.
Thank you, Robert, and thank you, everybody, for coming and supporting our district. I also want to start by thanking the negotiations committee. As usual, it was a positive, collaborative experience. This contract represents all certified teachers. It's a 2-year agreement as usual. The major changes include wage increases that bring the teachers up to a more competitive rate and keep pace with the cost of living, which has outpaced their wages since the last contract agreement, which we usually see. The starting base pay for a new teacher with a bachelor's degree increases by $2,000, and the salary goes to $42,750 for the first year. $2,100 the second year, and the starting salary will be $44,850. So next time we negotiate, we will also be in this position of trying to stay competitive, which is our goal. We also see a change in the health insurance, a cost sharing between the district and the teachers of 1% per year. So 1% this first contract year, 1% the second. So by 26-27, it'll be an 80-20 cost share. Looking at the health insurance plan options for our future as well, because we see having that shift keeps the cost down for the district. We also did see a increase to extracurricular, also bringing those salaries up for coaches, club advisors, stipends to keep things competitive as well. And thank you for supporting this. We feel that it's fair and hopefully support. Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll vote on Article 7 as written. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. And Article 7 passes with opposition.
Robert, I'll make a motion to restrict reconsiderations, Articles 4 through 7.
Motion to restrict reconsideration for Articles 4 through 7. And second by Jay Dugan. That would mean that if somebody wanted to reconsider these later this evening, we would schedule a meeting 7 days from today. And if this meeting ends before reconsidering, then they would no longer be on the table. So if we want to restrict reconsideration later this evening, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. And Articles 4 through 7 are now restricted from reconsideration.
Reading first.
Sure. Article 8, shall the district, if Article 7 is defeated, authorize the Lincoln-Woodstock Cooperative School Board to call one special meeting and its option to address the Article 7 cost items only.
Robert, I'll make a motion to postpone indefinitely Article 8.
Tamara had made a motion to postpone indefinitely Article 8. Second by Jay Dugan. Postponing indefinitely means we won't vote on it at all. If this meeting ends, this article will just have no action taken on it. And that's because Article 7 passed and we would no longer need Article 8. So those in favor of postponing indefinitely Article 8 signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. And Article 8 has been postponed indefinitely. Article 9, to see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $209,004 for the flooring replacement project, including the Lin-Wood High School Humanities Math Wing Classrooms, Van Room Middle High School Library, and the Family Consumer Science Room as part of a multi-year phase project. This is a special warrant article for RSA 32:3, Roman numeral 6, lowercase d, and RSA 32:7, Roman numeral 5.
So moved.
Moved by Tamara Ham.
Second.
And second by Jay Dugan, and I'll recognize Joe Boss.
Hey, everybody, welcome. First and foremost, thank each and every one of you for being here and voicing your opinions and your votes and your voice. As a board, I know we appreciate each and every voice out there, whether we agree or not. This new flooring project for the middle high school, we're asking for a little bit more money this year than we normally would. Normally, we ask for between 150 and 170,000. for a little bit extra this year. This is gonna complete this project out for the middle high school. So it'll be done, 20 years down the road, will still be good. The cost of this flooring has been increasing year to year to year so much that we thought it would be good to just combine these last 2 years of the ninth and 10th year of it and just ask for a little bit more to finish this project. Our flooring originates in Europe. So the possibility after this year of actually paying for maybe possibly tariffs on this, right now, there's enough flooring in our country to complete this project. So that at least the middle high school will be done at a reasonable price. And I hope that you guys will all vote for it, because it just makes sense. Thank you.
Any questions or comments on Article 9? Seeing none, we'll vote on Article 9 as written. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. And Article 9 passes unanimously. Article 10, to see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $60,000 to be added to the Special Education Capital Reserve Fund created in 1998 and amended in 2021. The sum represents the amount estimated to be received from state special education aid from prior year expenditures.
So moved.
Moved by Tamara Ham, second by Jay Dugan. Any questions or comments on Article 10? Yes.
So just briefly, if it's okay if I can address 9, 10, 11, and 12, because they're all sort of an issue. Every year we ask to retain some of the unexpended fund balance to put into capital reserve funds or trust funds for different components in the school. Some's for maintenance of the infrastructure, some's for technology. We have transportation and then a capital reserve fund that we established for special ed. So the $60,000 again is the special ed money coming back from the state. But you'll notice an increase in what we're asking for from the unexpended fund balance for technology and for the facilities. And just wanted to give you a brief explanation as to why we're doing that at this point. So one of the long-term projects and goals of the board has been to establish a capital improvement plan for the district. We feel like for years, we've sort of been reactionary in terms of funding for projects like the roof and the flooring, and the project comes up and we're asking for money at that point. What we've been working on, and Tammy Ham especially has been putting in a lot of work on this, is creating a capital improvement plan outlining the needs of the district well into the future so that we can anticipate those needs in a way that allows us to fund them without having to take money and pay interest. And so our hope is, through the capital improvement plan, we can add a little bit to these funds in anticipation of upcoming projects. And then we're not asking for the bonds and paying the interest on those bonds over the course of 10 years. There's always going to be things that come up, but we're trying to do our best to be proactive, to anticipate those needs, to come up with a plan long into the future so that anyone who's on the board, whether it's us or somebody else, has that plan and can see where that money's been allocated, and we're not, sort of being reactive to the situations as they come up, and we're sort of being more proactive. So we are asking for a little bit more money. That's because through the capital improvement plan process, we've identified a lot of things that are coming up that are big, some big ticket items potentially. So, for example, paving the parking lot is something that potentially could be coming up. There's some repairs that need to be done on the main building and things like that. So we're asking to put a little bit more than we normally do. That's in anticipation of some of these projects, and we're hoping to keep doing this as a way of planning ahead for some of these things. So, thank you.
Any other questions or comments on Article 10? Seeing none, we'll vote on Article 10 as written. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. And Article 10 passes unanimously. Article 11, to see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate 63% up to the amount of $100,000 of the June 30, 2025 unassigned fund balance available for transfer on July 1st, 2025 and place that amount in the school district's facility expendable trust fund created in 1999.
So moved.
Moved by Cameron Ham. Second by Jay Dugan. Any questions or comments on Article 11? Seeing none, we'll vote on Article 11 as written. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Article 11 passes unanimously. Article 12, to see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate 31% up to the amount of $50,000 of the June 30, 2025 unassigned fund balance available for transfer on July 1st, 2025, and place that amount in the school district technology expendable trust fund created in 1999.
So moved.
Moved by Cameron Ham. Second by Jay Dugan. Any questions or comments on Article 12? Seeing none, we'll vote on Article 12 as written. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. And Article 12 passes unanimously. Article 13, to see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate 6% up to the amount of $10,000 of the June 30, 2025 unassigned fund balance available for transfer on July 1st, 2025, and place that amount to the school district equipment expendable trust fund created in 1999. Moved by Cameron Ham. Second by Jay Dugan. Any questions or comments on Article 13? Seeing none, we'll vote on Article 13 as written. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. And Article 13 passes unanimously. Article 14 is to transact any other business that may legally come before said meeting. And I'll recognize Jay Dugan.
Thank you. So just want to take this opportunity to recognize a few people. First, our business administrator, Deb, recently Deb won a statewide award for Business Administrator of the Year. Deb has tirelessly performed her job on behalf of the district and on behalf of the board. We are constantly relying on Deb. She is an unbelievable resource. We couldn't be more thankful for the work that she does, and we are grateful that she was recognized this year with that award. So. I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize a couple of folks that we have retiring this year. So Paula King and Julie Rand, two teachers that have been put in many years in service of our district. We are.
A couple.
Sorry, not that. I'm getting that feedback. So, you know, we would like to extend our heartfelt thank you for the work that you've done on behalf of the district and the students of our district. You've touched many lives, so thank you.
Anyone else have anything to bring before the meeting? Yes. Judy Boyle. Could you come to the microphone, please? Or I can bring it to you. Yes, thank you.
This is a curiosity question. I noticed in the budget that you're anticipating $473,000 plus from the federal government. Is that guaranteed, or is it anticipated, and with all the turmoil out of Washington, we might not get it, we might not get some of it? Are there any contingency thoughts as to what you will do if it does not come through?
Yeah, let Mary answer. Sure.
Dr. Steady is coming up. She's our superintendent.
Thank you for that question. I think that's gone on a lot of people's mind. There's two laws that oversee some of that funding. One's IDA and the other one is ESSA, and it's associated with Title I. That money has already been appropriated by the government, and we've had a reassurance from the State Department of Ed that that funding source shouldn't change. There are a couple other smaller funding sources that may be impacted. We have thought of contingency plans with that funding.
Anybody else?
Wait.
Yes. And I profusely apologize, we missed, we also have Bobby Donahue, who's been, an employee in the district for a very long time, retiring this year as well. I profusely apologize for getting him the first time around, but thank you to Bobby as well.
Take a motion to dissolve the meeting.
Abraham makes a motion to dissolve the meeting. Second by KJ, meeting dissolves with a clear term that this meeting has ended and all business is taken care of. Those in favor of dissolving the annual meeting signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. And our meeting is dissolved. The time is 7:31.